Thank you so much for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today we are continuing with our Srimad Bhagavatam study. Maharaj, Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you, all glories to Prabhupada. I just want to confirm with you that are we doing Srimad Bhagavatam? You're on mute, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Krishna. Maharaj, are we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam today?
Yeah, verse number 4.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. I'll share my screen. Yeah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Atrirapatyam abhikangsata aho tusam. Dato mayaham itiya bhagavam sadataham. Yapada pankajam paraga pavitra deha. Yoga dimapur udavim yadu hayahadya. The great sage Atri prayed for offspring, and the Lord, being satisfied with him, promised to incarnate as Atri's son Dattatreya, Datta, the son of Atri. And by the grace of the lotus feet of the Lord, many Yadavas, Haihayas, etc., became so purified that they attained both material and spiritual blessings. Purport. Transcendental relationship between the personality of God and the living entities are eternally established in 5 different affectionate humors, which are known as Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. The sage Atri was rated with the Lord in the affectionate Vatsalya humor, and therefore, as a result of his devotional perfection, he was inclined to have the personality of Godhead as his son. The Lord accepted his prayer and gave himself as the son of Atri. Such a relation of sonhood between the Lord and his pure devotee can be cited in many instances, and because the Lord is unlimited, he has unlimited number of father devotees. Actually, the Lord is the father of all living entities, but out of transcendental affection and love between the Lord and his devotees, the Lord takes more pleasure in becoming the son of a devotee than becoming one's father. The father actually serves the son, whereas the son only demands all sorts of services from the father. Therefore, a pure devotee who is always inclined to serve the Lord wants him as the son and not as the father. The Lord also accepts such service from the devotee, and thus the devotee becomes more than the Lord. The impersonalists desire to become one with the Supreme, but the devotee becomes more than the Lord, surpassing the desire of the greatest monist. Parents and other relatives of the Lord achieve all mystic opulences automatically because of their intimate relationship with the Lord. Such opulences include all details of material enjoyment, salvation, and mystic powers. Therefore, the devotee of the Lord does not seek them separately, wasting his valuable time in life. The valuable time of life must therefore be fully engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Then other desirable achievements are automatically gained. But even after obtaining such achievements, one should be on guard against the pitfall of offenses at the feet of the devotees. The vivid example is Haihaya, who achieved all such perfection in devotional service, but because of his offense at the feet of a devotee, was killed by Lord Parasurama. The Lord became the son of the great sage Atri and became known as Dattatreya. Om Gyanti Mirandasya Ginajana Salakaya Chaksu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakte Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravali Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Paschyatyare Satarni Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So what we see in this material world, as far as relationships are concerned, is also there in the spiritual world in a relationship with the Lord. We see here people become friends. People take the positions of husbands and wives and lovers. People take the position of parents and children, relatives. People take the position of connecting with someone through some service that they gain something from. And people have an appreciation for others without doing anything in regard to that person. So these five are the moods that are here in the material world. And as it says, as above, so below. So therefore, all of these relationships are intrinsic with the soul and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, based on one's particular spiritual nature. One can interact with the Lord in one or more of these five relationships, mostly one, but mostly sometimes one can also change. So here we see the example of Atri. Atri became perfect in his devotional service, and therefore he requested a boon from the Lord. He asked the Lord to become his son. You'll see the story as you read it in the Bhagavatam. He didn't know actually who was the Lord, and so he got three sons, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And his wife, Anasuya, she is considered to be the most chaste woman in existence, even more chaster than Sita Devi, the wife of Lord Ram. In fact, there's a whole section of knowledge coming from, I'm not sure of the scripture, but it is Anasuya giving instructions to Sita Devi on how to become the ideal wife. So she's instructing the goddess of fortune herself. So they say there's no one more pure in relationships than Anasuya, at least on this level. Of course, the perfection is Srimati Radharani, but that's in the spiritual world. But on this level, Anasuya is considered the most, out of all of the ladies, even more pure than Mandodari, the wife of Ravana. So that's a point. But here we see that one can have a relationship, and if the devotee has a choice to become the father of the Lord or the son of the Lord, the devotee will take the position of becoming the father of the Lord. Why? Because the son is the one that receives and the father is the one that gives. So the devotees want to give to the Lord, so they take the position of serving the Lord as being the father of the Lord. And that is very satisfying to the Lord. So the Lord has these intimate associations with his pure devotees in different relationships. And this is the goal of Krishna consciousness. As we develop in our Krishna conscious and make progress through the different stages of bhakti, we get an inclination to serve the Lord in a certain way based on these five humors, or they're called rasas, actually. Rasa means mellow or mood. And so here, one can, of course, Lord Chaitanya came and he taught Madhurya Ras. Most of his associates were in Madhurya Ras. Of course, there were a few in Sakya Ras. And most of Lord Nityananda's associates were in Sakya Ras, because Brajendra Nandana Ye, Sachi Sutta, Hoilo Se, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. That same Balaram has become Nityananda. That same Brajendra Nandana from Vrindavan has now become Lord Chaitanya. So there's no difference, but the difference is their mood of service. And so here we see that Lord Chaitanya is teaching Madhurya Ras through the mood of Radharani's love for Krishna, because he is Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahiyonya. He is Radharani's mood, but he is actually Krishna himself. He is not Radharani, he is Krishna, but in her mood of devotion to him. A very amazing incarnation of the Lord. And he's teaching the process of pure devotional service based on Radharani's love for Krishna. And that love is expressed through Harinam Sankirtan. As Lord Chaitanya declares himself, I came to garland the entire world with the bhakti of Radharani through this Harinam Sankirtan movement. So that's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But here, a devotee doesn't like to accept service from the Lord, although the Lord likes to serve his devotee. It's kind of a competition. Now, Prabhupada would give that example that what can you give to the Lord with two hands that he's holding with 10? And what can you hold in two hands that he's giving you with 10 hands? So the Lord is always in a superior position of service, even though he may take a subordinate position. He still serves the devotee, and he serves in the most amazing way. So here it says the devotee doesn't have to make any separate arrangements for anything. All they have to do is dedicate their time and energy and intelligence, ability in the service of the Lord. Whatever the devotee needs, both material and spiritual, both, will automatically be provided by the Lord. Now, why wouldn't the Lord provide? Why would he hold something back from his loving devotee? He doesn't, unless the only time he holds back is just when he sees some insincerity in our devotion or some personal motivation in our devotion. In other words, we're looking to gain something material from the service of the Lord, or we're looking to gain something from the service of the Lord. The service of the Lord must be executed without any personal desire. That is bhakti. Bhakti cannot be mixed It can be mixed, but it's not pure bhakti, and therefore it doesn't have the same effect. But according to Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, Lord Chaitanya, one should serve the Lord simply for the pleasure of the Lord. And therefore, that loving relationship develops. It becomes quite intimate. It's quite confidential, this relationship. It cannot be explained. It can only be experienced by the devotee. Whether it's in any one of these rasas, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, any one of these four. In Shanta, there is no service. Shanta is simply appreciation for the Lord through meditating on the Lord or to simply taking darshan of the Lord. But Dasya is all kinds of service, and Dasya carries into all of the other rasas. In other words, in Sakya, there is also service to Krishna. Vatsalya, there is also service to Krishna. Madhurya, there is also service to Krishna. But it's done according to that mood of connection based on friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love. So this is Krishna consciousness. And this is why we say that out of all of the processes of spiritual elevation, this process of bhakti is the topmost, because it not only connects one with the Lord in service, but in a certain mood of service that has a certain, what we call mellow to it, or satisfaction that gives the devotee unlimited happiness. And therefore, the devotee aspires for one of these mellows. Of course, it is mentioned also that one is fixed in serving the Lord in one of these ways. It's already there within the soul, but it's brought out through the process of bhakti, particular when one reaches the stages of ruchi and ashakti, these stages there. It can even begin on nishta. So this is nice. So Prabhupada says you can talk to the Lord and he'll talk to you. But he doesn't talk to anybody. He talks to only those who are his devotees, those who are not trying to gain anything from their relationship from the Lord, but they only want to serve the Lord. The Lord is very kind, although he needs no service from us. He is full in himself. He is the source of everything. He's called Atmarama, which means self-satisfied. But still, to reciprocate with his devotees, he puts himself in a position of need, just like when we do the deity worship. So the deity is there, and the deity becomes dependent on our service. And therefore we, wake him up, we dress him, we offer nice food to him, we worship him in different ways. We also put him to bed, and we also, chant in front of the Lord. All of these things are ways to serve the Lord in this deity form. And the deity becomes dependent. And if we neglect that service, or if we become somewhat careless in that service, then the relationship cannot be experienced. And if we continue in a deviant way, or in a wrong way, you might say, then the Lord will make some indication to us that he's not happy with our service. So that's Krishna. So this mood of Vatsalya ras is quite prominent in deity worship, where one takes the position of superiority and Krishna becomes the object of worship. When we forget to feed him, then he has to fast that day. But then the devotee thinks, oh, I forgot to take care of the Lord properly. Oh my God, what an offense I am. The devotee starts to um, rebuke themselves for their being remiss in the service of the Lord. So, yeah, the Lord is very merciful, and especially in the form of the deity, he shows ultimate mercy. Okay, so we can open it up for questions.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much, such a wonderful class. And I just want to humbly request you, like today's day, appearance day of divine appearance day of Srila Srivas Pandit. Can you speak a little bit about Srivas Pandit?
Something on Srivas. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada. No, what is it? Panchatattva Makam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhakta Kyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. So the absolute truth consists of 5 aspects: the Lord, the Lord's expansion, the Lord's incarnation, the Lord's energy, and the Lord's pure devotee. So the Lord, the pure devotee, is also there in the form of Srivas Thakur. He is also Narada Muni, come again to associate with the Lord in his pastimes as Lord Chaitanya. Srivas Thakur became the object of Lord Chaitanya's activities by having kirtan every night in the house of Srivas. Srivas would make all the arrangements. The Lord would come just after the sunset, and they would have kirtan throughout the whole night up until sunrise. And Srivas Thakur opened his house up to the Lord. And then in those kirtans, the Lord would dance and get into his internal mood of love for himself in the form of Srimati Radharani's love for him. So there are many nice stories where Srivas was told by the Lord, don't allow anyone who is not meant to come in. In other words, there should be only pure devotees can come to this kirtan. And one time, Srivas Thakur's mother-in-law, she wanted to observe Lord Chaitanya's dancing, so she hid in one section of the house behind a earthen pot. And Lord Chaitanya, he would be ready, and then Mukunda or Sri Advaita would sing, and then they would sing, and then the Lord would start to dance and go into his internal mood of ecstasy. But one time he couldn't get into that mood, and then he stopped his dancing and said, there must be someone here, Srivas, who doesn't belong here. Srivas said, my dear Lord, there's only you and your intimate associates. No, Srivas, I'm sure someone is here. Go look. So he went looking, and he found his mother-in-law hiding behind an earthen pot. And he very readily removed his mother-in-law from the house. And so he was serving the Lord with complete dedication. One time, there was some calamity in the house, where in the very far back part of the house, away from where Lord Chaitanya was, there was the son of Srivas. He was 4 years old, and he came down with a very deadly disease. And the boy died right during the time when Lord Chaitanya was there. And the relatives became very unhappy and started to cry, and their crying was a little bit disturbing. So Srivas came back to inquire, why are you all crying? Oh, your son died. Oh, okay. But don't disturb Lord Chaitanya. So then he didn't say anything. And then Lord Chaitanya started his dancing, and he danced the whole night. And then in the early morning hours, when it became end of the kirtan, the Lord stopped everything and said, Srivas, I have a feeling some calamity happened in this house. Can you tell me? Srivas said, "My dear Lord, when you're here, what calamity can come? But since you asked, my son, oh, your son died. Really? When was that? Oh, 7.5 hours ago. Why didn't you tell me? Well, I didn't want to disturb you. Where is he? So, and then he took him back. The boy was laying on the bed, and the relatives were mourning the loss of the son. And then Lord Chaitanya, without speaking anything, walked up to the boy and placed his lotus-like hand on the boy's chest. And the boy rose up, coming back to life. He looked around. He says, "Where am I? Who are all of these people?" Lord Chaitanya said, "These are your relatives. And here's your father, Srivas." The boy said, "Well," and Lord Chaitanya then asked him, "Well, where did you go? Why did you leave?" He said, "I'm your eternal servant. And therefore it was my time was up in this body. So by your arrangement, I'm on to my next body." And then he spoke eternal truth, showing the difference between the soul and the body. And then he lay down again and left his body again, of course. So that was very instructive for everyone, that the boy came back just to instruct everyone. Why are you crying? The soul doesn't die, the person doesn't die, they just go to another destination. Yeah. When we lose a loved one, we feel the loss of a loved one, and there's some unhappiness. But not that we carry that unhappiness on for years and years and years, because death is there for all living beings. The body will end at a certain time. No one can change that. And the soul is the person, not the body. This body is simply a combination of material elements. The actual person is the soul. What makes the body beautiful is the presence of the soul. What makes the body animate is the presence of the soul. So the soul is actually the person, because as Krishna says, Jiva Sarupai Krishna Nityadas, we are the living entities in this world are my eternal parts and parcel. They are also pure spiritual energy, like the Supreme Lord. So the Lord gave that message to everyone through the son of Srivas, and everyone became enlightened in the truth regarding the difference between the body and the soul. So these are a couple pastimes. There are many more. One of my favorite pastimes is where Sri Advaita was inspired to have kirtan to glorify Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya's kirtan
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj. Just wait Maharaj to come back. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
I think the internet dropped. Guru
Mm.
Maharaj will come back when the
Maharaj is there on the call, but
I am there.
yeah. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
What's wrong?
Yeah, you suddenly got froze and we couldn't hear anything.
Okay. So Lord Chaitanya is teaching that we should glorify Krishna. And so when Advaitacharya wanted to glorify Lord Chaitanya, the devotees were reluctant. And therefore, he was persistent, saying, no, we're going to chant Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. And so the devotees didn't want to do it, but he was really, really emphatic. So finally they acquiesced and they start chanting Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. And there was a rousing kirtan. And then all of a sudden, Lord Chaitanya, he's away in a distance and he hears, oh, the devotees are having a kirtan. So let's go. So he goes, and as he gets closer, he starts to hear. And he's thinking, what are they chanting? They're not chanting Krishna's name. And then he got closer, and then he realized they were chanting Gauranga. He stopped and he looked. The devotees saw him. He was a distance away. And the devotees immediately stopped. But Advaita wasn't going to stop. He started to really push the devotees. Come on, keep chanting. So some were reluctant, some didn't chant, some chanted. And then Lord Chaitanya just turned away and left, went back to his room, closed the door, went to sleep. And after some time, he woke up, it was still daylight, and Srivas Thakur was there to meet him. And then the Lord said to Srivas, Srivas, wow, why aren't the devotees chanting the name of Krishna? And then Srivas took his hand, held it high in the air in the direction of the sun. And then Lord Chaitanya said, Srivas, what are you doing? He said, I'm blocking the sun with my hand. And Lord Chaitanya said, you can't do that. That's not possible. Yes, that's true. And therefore you can't hide yourself from us. So Lord Chaitanya didn't have any response to that. So, of course, he always wanted the devotees to glorify the Supreme Lord, although he was the Supreme Lord, and they knew it, but still, he emphasized the chanting of Krishna's name. Because that is the Yuga Dharma in this age. Of course, if we chant Gauranga's name, that's also nice. We have kirtans. Sometimes we also chant Gauranga. Nityananda and Gaur Nityananda Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo. Gauranga 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 Gauranga. Gauranga 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 Nityananda 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 Nityananda. Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai 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 Gauranga Jaya Sachinandana Jai Sachinandana Jai Sachinandana Jai Sachinandana Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga. The devotees chant like that also. That's very nice. Because devotees love Lord Chaitanya more than they love Krishna, although he is Krishna. Because we can't really approach Krishna unless we approach Krishna through Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. That is the only way one can get to worship the Lord. Radha and Krishna is only by the mercy and by the direction given by Lord Chaitanya. He is the gateway to Vrindavan in this age, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore, he is also the most merciful, and he's making Vrindavan easy through the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Such a wonderful narration of the pastimes of Srivas Pandit along with Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. Thank you so much. So, dear devotees, any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead now. Maharaj, you want to say something?
No, I'm just...
Yeah, okay. Please turn on your cameras if possible. Thank you.
Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga.
Yeah. So, Maharaj, yeah, Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Srimati. Dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, when you said that, devotees love Lord Chaitanya, more than Krishna, that is because Lord is so merciful in this age where we have any hopes if it were not for Lord Chaitanya. So, of course, we love Lord Chaitanya and we also love Lord Krishna because he is non different. But if we chant the name of Gauranga, it is the same as Krishna, correct?
Yeah,
So,
but we
if
follow Gauranga by Gauranga has given us the formula. You chant Krishna's name. So we have to follow Lord Chaitanya.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking the other day that because I'm so much focused on Lord Chaitanya, supposing, I was on my deathbed, I'll probably just be saying Gauranga, 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 not Krishna.
That's all right.
Okay, just checking. All right, that's all right, right?
Well, yeah, why not? I mean, he's Krishna himself. Namo Mahavadanaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namari Gaura Triste Namaha. You can't approach Radha and Krishna unless you approach through Gaur Nitai in this age.
But that's it, Guru Maharaj. I cannot even think of anything beyond Panchatattva. It's only Nitai Gaur, Gaur Nitai for me all the time because they're so merciful and I'm such an offender. I cannot even dream of anything beyond Gaur Nitai. I cannot even think of Radha Krishna. That's the state I am in right now.
Well, but Prabodhananda Saraswati, his prayers are quite strong. He only wants to hear about Gauranga, nobody else. And he even decries the worship of other incarnations of the Lord. So he's so absorbed in Lord Chaitanya, then that's all he can think about. So that's in our line also. That's all right. But if you want to please Lord Chaitanya, you follow his instructions so you can come to Radha and Krishna, which is actually the goal. Radha and Krishna is the goal.
Mataji, is that okay? You want any further clarification?
And we got a question from
But
Brish.
just like Murari Gupta was fixated on Ram, what if we are just, unable to go beyond Lord Chaitanya?
Well, Lord Chaitanya accepted his devotion to Ram because he tested him to see, and he passed the test. He couldn't give up his attachment to Ram because he has an intimate attachment to Ram. He's an eternal associate of Ram. But that's a rare, and most of the associates of Lord Chaitanya are in Madhurya Ras. They're Nitya Siddhas. They're gopis, most of them. Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Krishna Das Kaviraj, Sarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. They're all eternal associates of the Lord in Madhurya Ras.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. Vrishabhanu Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept our humble obeisances, Dandvat pranams. I just want to express to you and devotees who recently helped, prayed, and for my wife's recovery from a spinal surgery, which was fairly complex. risky in many ways, but she left her destiny and faith to Lord Krishna, and we prayed with our hearts, and with the mercy of Guru Gauranga, she is here today. We are attending your class, and she would like to also express her thanks. At least the surgery went well, and the aftercare is happening now. But we look forward to have your association in person in time to come now. So once again, our heartfelt thanks and gratitude at your feet. Hare Krishna.
Jai Ho, Vishabhanu, Kirtidas, Sundari, Haribo.
Very good, Maharaj, very good. Thank you so much for doing prayer for us. And I was thinking of my Guru Maharaj and the Krishna and the
Yeah,
very, very tough time for me. And then with all my pain, I just wanted to do the retreat. Or it went well. After that, I decided to do the surgery, and we said only patients say yes, so there was no guarantee. But Guru Maharaj, it went very well with all my devotees' prayers and everybody. I'm here. And both koti koti pranam to everybody. Thank you so much, Maharaj. I'm looking forward to see you at our home now.
I'll read you something. Mhm. This is from today, from the Vaishnav calendar. We can ask favor from anyone, but we must know that nobody can favor us unless sanctioned by the Supreme Person. Suppose we approach a rich man to favor us with some contribution. Krishna is there within, and if he says, "You give him this money," the man will give us. If he is not so fortunate now, therefore Krishna does not dictate to him. So this should be the principle. No one can do good to anyone unless Krishna sanctions it. So Krishna uses his devotees to serve others, but it's actually him who makes everything happen in a certain way. He is the complete, absolute personality of control. Nothing happens without, it says, not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Lord. So we congratulate the devotees, we congratulate others. When people do something for us, that's part of the social environment, and it carries human life into a nice relationship. But ultimately, behind everything is the hand of the Lord. So he is the ultimate beneficiary of everyone. He says that in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvalokas mahesharam suhidam sarvadehinam yantramam shantam richyati. I am the well-wisher of all living entities. Whatever Krishna wants, it happens. But of course, we pray in a certain way, we desire in a certain way, and that's natural and normal. But ultimately, it's Krishna. As Prabhupada said, one man, he was on the deathbed, and he was saying to the doctor, "I haven't finished my plans yet. Can you give me 4 more years?" And Prabhupada goes on to explain, no one can give 4 seconds more unless Krishna sanctions it.
Mhm.
Now, Krishna is behind anything. You'll see sometimes a fire will start in one house, and the fire will jump not to the next house, but to the house next to the next house. For some reason, that fire didn't go on to the next house, which is closest to the fire, and went to a farther place. That's Krishna through the material energy. When we were in we were in Dallas, Sadhu Sangha last year. I was sitting in my room. This was in the next morning. I was giving the class, and all of a sudden I heard this loud blast of lightning and a huge noise, crack. And then later on, we looked out, and there was a house on fire about 1 block away from where we were. So that wasn't very far from where we were. So yeah, Krishna is the controller of both material and spiritual. And if he wants something to happen, it happens. If we get the whole world behind us to make something happen, and he doesn't want it to happen, it won't happen. So therefore, behind the activities of everything is the hand of God, either directly or indirectly. In both cases, it's Krishna. But still, we thank the devotees, because sometimes Krishna becomes neutral in certain situations and he doesn't get involved. But the devotees say, "Oh, please give Kirtidas Sundari some more time on this earth." And Krishna says, "All right, you got some fans out there, so I'm going to satisfy them." So the prayers do help. Helps Krishna decide sometimes, because he doesn't get so much involved with material things. But if devotees pray in a certain way, then he may make something happen. So the prayers of the devotees are very important.
But Guru Maharaj, I'm not worried or scared about the death, but only when he said this kind of surgery, patient can be on the wheelchair or can die or can anytime. So he gave us so I don't want to be burdened to anybody. That's what I pray, Krishna. Please, I'm ready whenever he wants. I'm ready anytime, anytime. But I want only one. In last my breath, I want his name that I won't forget. But he fulfilled my all desire, Maharaj. Thank
Yeah,
you.
a devotee lives like that. In death or in life, it's Krishna. We're not planning to live long. We're planning to live as long as we can to serve Krishna. That's all. And if Krishna says time's up, time's up. If Krishna says, "I'll give you another 50 years," then you got it. He makes the decision, and he decides based on what is beneficial for the devotee. Sometimes leaving the world is the best thing. Sometimes staying in the world is the best thing for that devotee. Each person is an individual, and each person has a particular relationship with Krishna that's unique. But
Thank you.
for us, we shouldn't be preparing for death. We should be preparing for next life. What are we going to do now that will set the stage for our next destination? We shouldn't think, "I have to get ready for death." No, I have to get ready for what I'm going to become in my next life. Therefore, one acts on the spiritual platform and develops Krishna consciousness, and that projects one to higher and higher stages of consciousness in the next life. It's all based on consciousness. Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna.
Consciousness of Krishna.
It's very wonderful explanation. I think we consider it as opportunity to serve Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna.
Good. Whatever opportunities we can get for service, we should take, and whatever opportunities are not there, we should seek them out. We should think, let me serve. Because we can't get away from service. Service is intrinsic to the soul's existence. And so service is also intrinsic to the activities within the material world. Everyone has to serve. We play different roles in the activities of service, but still, no one can get away from service. So we can choose. We want to serve the Supreme Lord and develop, a desire to attain him, or do we want to serve in this world and simply try to ameliorate all the sufferings that we are forced upon us simply by trying to rearrange the material world by doing different kinds of services? There are people just always trying to rearrange their life so they can make it better, but they can't. It's not possible. They're destined to whatever they are, whatever their consciousness is. That can't change. So serve that object which will bring ultimate happiness and eternal life.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Audible.
Thank you, Maharaj. Such a valuable lessons. So thank you so much. Yeah. Sridevi Mataji, you have another question?
Yeah, Guru Maharaj, on the subject of prayers and praying for devotees, I remember once you said that you will send a PDF or a Word document, I don't remember, about how to pray, what to pray, and directions on prayers, I believe it was. But somehow I don't remember whether it actually got sent. And the question came up recently. There was some discussion among our God family about, whether we should pray, we shouldn't pray, and so on. So if you can kindly clarify, when we pray for someone, what should we pray for them?
Pray that they receive the mercy of Krishna. And leave it up to Krishna to decide how that mercy will come. Krishna hears the prayer. If you get specific on how you want that mercy to come, then you can also pray in that way, but then you have to leave it up to Krishna, and that has to be included in the prayer. My dear Lord, please heal my spiritual master if you so desire. If you pray for something specific, you can do that, but then you have to say, this is my request, but ultimately it is your decision. You can express your request, your desire to Krishna, but you can't demand that he fulfill that prayer.
Right, right. I remember when Srila Prabhupada was very, very, very sick and devotees were so distraught, Prabhupada did instruct them that if you so desire, my dear Lord, please make our spiritual master well. Like that prayer.
If you so desire.
Right, right. Guru Maharaj, would you kindly send that document which you were going to send about prayers to all of us?
Well, I was just looking at some of it this morning. There is a document that has 10 different kinds of prayers to it. And there's, let me see. Let me see. I'm going to try to escape here for a minute and go to that document. Can you still hear me?
Yes,
Yes, Maharaj.
can
Okay.
see you and hear you.
Okay, here is, I was just looking at it this morning. It's interesting you were mentioning it. Where is it? Prayers. So, according to this, there's 10 types of prayers. And one is Samparthanatmika, which is a direct prayer glorifying the Lord. Then we have Swanaya Bodhika, a prayer expressing humility and embarrassment, informing the Lord, I am very fallen. Then you have Raghunath Das Goswami's Mana Shiksha, prayers to the mind, entreating the mind to bring you to the spiritual platform. Vilapatimika, statements of supreme lamentation. So, a type of devotional ecstasy that draws one closer to Krishna through this prayer. Vaishnav Mahima Prakasika, revealing the greatness of the Vaishnavas. That Krishna doesn't want to be considered separate from Vaishnavas, therefore we glorify the Vaishnavas. Number 6, Sri Guru Vaishnav Vigyapati Rupa, statements of submission and glorifying of the Vaishnavas, especially the Guru. Sridham Vase Lipsa Mika, expressing the desire to live in holy places. Saraka Deha Lasana Suchika, expressing the desire to practice devotional service. Siddha Deha Lala Samayi, desire to attain one's spiritual body and serve Krishna in that spiritual body. Akshakpa Bodhika, lamentation, extreme grief and sorrow that we have fallen into this material world. These are 10 types of prayers. There's different kinds of prayers. Prayers before reading, before jopping, prayers to wake up the deities, prayers to glorify different devotees, prayers to Krishna, prayers to Sanatana Goswami, who glorifies him, who glorifies the Bhagavatam with different types of prayers. So our retreat in France is going to focus on Mana Shiksha. Mana means mind and Shiksha means instructions. So these are prayers to the mind or instructions to the mind. So that'll be the topic for the France retreat. Those who haven't signed up still got 3 days before the registration is closed. So come. This Mana Shiksha is very nice. It's basic, but it's also highly elevated in both categories. So it's an amazing text of Raghunath Das Goswami. And then, the whole Bhagavatam is full of prayers anyway. Prayers to the different deities, prayers to the different manifestations of Krishna. Prayers are everywhere in Vaishnava culture.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
The chanting of Hare Krishna is a prayer, or asking the Lord for service when we chant Hare Krishna.
Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you, Srimati. Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Guru Maharaj. All glories to all of the Vaishnavas. Guru Maharaj, whilst we're making our attempts at bhakti, sometimes a material desire pops up and we try to ignore it. We try to not focus any effort on it. Don't mention it to anyone. Don't pray for it. And the only person that knows that we have that have or had that desire is Krishna. And yet he still fulfills that desire sometimes. And God Govinda Swami said that that's very dangerous for us. So how can we escape this danger of Krishna fulfilling desires, material desires that we were trying to ignore?
Maybe you're not trying to ignore it enough. That's why. We have sometimes Krishna fulfills your material desire just to show you that's not what you want. He can do that just to teach you a lesson. That way you will never even think of it again after you learn your lesson. That's one way. Or he might be testing you and see if you really do you really want it or not. So it's not Krishna so much that's doing that. He does it through his agencies, material energy generally. But he's behind the activity. Krishna is all good. And whatever he does, it has a reason that is beneficial for the devotee's advancement in Krishna consciousness. If you trust Krishna, then whatever happens, then you can accept it as his mercy. But if you don't have any trust in him or little trust, you'll doubt what's happening and you'll also get confused. Because as soon as you have doubts, there's confusion. And as soon as you get confusion, then you scramble to find some answer out of your confused state. And then you start to choose what is the easiest way out, which may not be always the best choice. So if we stay fixed in Krishna consciousness, Krishna is not going to fulfill our desires. Maya may try to tempt us with material desires, but we have to, once we're engaged in devotional service, we don't have any time for material desires. They're distractions, that's all. We'll cover that in the second verse of Manashiksha when we do the retreat. That's going to come up in the second verse. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Just stay fixed in Krishna consciousness. Your material desires will come like clouds that are being blown by the wind. And at one point, the cloud comes in front of you. And because the cloud is still, the wind is still blowing, the cloud disappears after some time.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Just ignore material existence. It's just a botheration, that's all. Botheration at best, a suicide at worst.
But sorry, Maharaj, I just have a follow-up question on that. But we don't realize it, right, Maharaj? What will be that stage, or when we'll get that particular stage where we'll realize that material things are nothing but just a waste of time.
That comes by learning the philosophy, learning how the material energy works.
Mm.
Maya knows where you're weak, and she will tempt by offering you some opportunity to fulfill that desire. And therefore, you have to know what is the difference between Krishna consciousness and something that may look like something beneficial.
Mm. Yeah, got it, Maharaj.
Yeah, I mean, why did Prabhupada write all these books? So we can learn how to practice Krishna consciousness. We can practice Krishna consciousness without reading the books. But one thing you can't do without reading the book is you can't understand how Maya works unless you read the books.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's gross, she's subtle, she's in between.
Yeah.
You know, you'll all of a sudden you'll be doing nice in Krishna conscious, and one of your old friends comes and calls you and said, "Hey, let's go for a party," you know. Well, then you have to say, well, the time you chose is no good because I have to go to the temple. But actually, since you're my old friend, why don't you just come to the temple with me? We can spend time there. So if someone invites you for some sense gratification, you can invite them for some spiritual experience. Don't be afraid to speak what you believe, and in a very nice way, of course.
Mm. Yes, Maharaj.
People who have no beliefs in life can't really have any happiness in life.
Mm. Yeah.
There's people who just go with the flow. Whatever's happening, they go. They think I'm a nice person, so I just go with the flow. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Mataji used to say that I believe that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I don't need to do anything else. Just doing my service and just remember that always that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's enough for me. She was saying, but I don't know whether that is enough or not. But I feel like, as you said, like we have to know more about Krishna and his pastimes and about the philosophy that will help us keep going into Krishna consciousness. Right, Maharaj?
There's different levels of Krishna consciousness. There's Kanista Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. Yeah. If you're if you're not engaged in devotional service regularly, you're still on the Kanista level.
Mm.
Most devotees are Kanista. That's the basic level. Madhyamam means four things, and Uttamam is the topmost platform. Most of the books that are written for Kanistas and for Uttamams, not for Madhyamams. And Prabhupada was preaching to Kanistas to bring them to Madhyamam, because Madhyamam is the stable platform. And Uttamams, we write books for Uttamam because that's the glorification of Krishna and Sri Vrindavan Dham with Krishna's pastimes with his intimate associates. These are understood by the Uttamams, but others can investigate and come to that level through the process of purification. Yeah. So we have to get out of this Kanista mentality. Madhyama means four things. You show your love for Krishna, You associate with and serve devotees. You find opportunities to preach to the innocent, non-devotees, and you reject and very carefully avoid the atheist non-devotees, those who are mimical atheists against Krishna consciousness. That's monument platform. And that's the platform that we're meant to practice on that level.
Okay, Maharaj. Yeah.
Those,
got it,
this,
Maharaj.
know those four qualities.
Yeah. Yes. Rasvi Leslie Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila, all glories to you and the devotees. Maharaj, what was the purpose of Lord Dattatreya coming to this material world? Because Maharaj, even I heard and I saw who is a devotee of Lord Dattatreya, they just meditate on Omkara, or some people they worship like Lord Dattatreya form. So what was the purpose?
I don't know what Dattatreya, those who worship Dattatreya, what is their method of worship? That I don't know. It doesn't mention so much in the scriptures. You can just have to read further. Read the section. I think it's in the beginning, somewhere in the 4th canto, about Dattatreya and Anasuya, Archie Muni, like that. There was three deities: Dattatreya, Durvasa, and what was the third one? One was Dattatreya was an expansion of Vishnu. Durvasa was an expansion of Shiva, and who was an expansion of Brahma? Soma. So they each appeared to Atri as sons. The whole story is nice. It really illustrates the chastity of Anasuya. How she dealt with those three. It's kind of cute. They said to her, they said, "We will accept your service if you serve us naked." And she said, "All right, I will." But then she had the power. She turned all of them into babies. So they were little tiny babies, and she served them naked. Because what do babies know? That was Anasuya. You can read that in the 4th canto. She's considered the best of all ladies in existence, Anasuya, even greater than Sita Devi. She was the wife of Atri Muni.
Okay, Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, just I wanted a little clarification. Did I hear that right, Guru Maharaj? You said books are written for Kanishtas and Uttamas.
Mostly. Most
Not
of them,
Madhyamas?
not so much Madhyavam, no. I just heard
Why?
that this morning from Shiva Ram Maharaj. He was giving a lecture. He
So
said
book
Prabhupada was teaching the Kanistas how to become Madhyamam. So most of the books are to raise us from Kanista to Madhyamam. And there's the books for the Uttamams. They're even more profuse than the books for the Madhyamams.
So which are the books for the Madhyamams then?
I don't know. How to preach Krishna consciousness then.
Okay.
If you get books that are focusing on the principle of preaching, which you don't find too many books like that, where it's just exclusively focusing on that. I mean, all the books have a mixture of different topics which overlap in each of the categories. But in other words, there's not too many books to raise the Madhyamams to the Uttamams. That's the point. That's the point.
Then how are the Madhyamams supposed to get to the Uttamam platform?
Yeah, through the process of service and sadhana.
Mm.
That's also mentioned in the books also. But we're talking about quantity. So don't mix quality with quantity. Quantity. Most books are written just like the whole topic of Sambandha is the biggest topic in the Vedas. Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana. The biggest topic is Sambandha, which is relationships. Because Kanistas don't know so much about relationship. Once you know relationships, then you can understand the whole process of bhakti. It's all about relationships. What is my relationship with this material energy? What is my relationship with different devotees on different levels? What is my relationship with Krishna? What is my relationship with this body I have? It's all about relationship. Relationships establish the principle of activity. Without proper relation, nobody knows what everyone's in this material world. They develop a relationship based on getting something from that relationship. Therefore, it's not a relationship, it's a business deal. Yeah, business. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written 2 volumes which describe the category. Oh, wait a minute, I got it right here. Let's see. Okay. So the topics in Sambandha are quite profuse. There are many, there are at least 35, 40 topics. Abhideya, which is the science of bhakti, is less than Sambandha. And the least category is Prayojana. So Sambandha is meant to teach us how to practice devotional service. What are the living entities? What's the material world? What's the spiritual world? What are the Vaishnavas? What are the pure Vaishnavas? What are the impure Vaishnavas? What is Mahaprasadam? What is the boat of the Lord? What are the Sampradayas? What are the Acharyas? What is Vedic knowledge? This is all part of the topic of Sambandha, which is the most important topic. What is Vedic culture, Vedic knowledge? What are the great souls, the Mahajans? What is my relationship with, relatives, friends, preaching, science, philosophy, spiritual literature? That's all sambandha. Abhideya is the process. And that is the 9 stages of bhakti, like that, chanting the holy name, compassion towards living entities, preaching, singing the glories of the Lord, activities that are unfavorable devotional service. Prayojana is the goal of life, the object of life, the mellows of bhakti, love of God, trance, samadhi, self-realization, like that. So that's the smallest of all categories. So therefore, the whole process is to raise people from kanista to madhyamam. And therefore, you'll find the majority of the books, the topics, are all focused on elevating kanistas to a level of madhyamam. Okay? Any questions on that?
You said that was a book by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Guru Maharaj. You mentioned that.
It's 2 books. It's in my library. My library's in the next room. You want me to get the books? I can get them.
No, just the titles, please. That's all.
Bhakti is by Baba Vinod, something like that.
Okay.
This Krishna consciousness is a very deep and very interesting science. You can spend thousands of lifetimes just diving deep into this knowledge. It covers everything, spiritual, material, everything. But the essence is what Lord Chaitanya gave us. So we focus on the essence mostly.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Maharaj, is it okay if we take more questions? We are almost 1.5 hours.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not so hungry today, so I'm postponing lunch as long as I can. The only problem is I got 4 people sitting in the next room waiting for me, but that's all right. They can enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
Okay, Revati.
Hi Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hi Guru Maharaj, I have just a clarification on the service. You have mentioned serve that object which brings us ultimate happiness. So when we are serving also, because I'm at a very neophyte level, so we have 2 different modes: service to the innocent and service to the higher authority. So when we try to serve innocent, sometimes we take up their consciousness. So when we serve the higher authority, we get the happiness, bliss. So how to be like a strong when we are trying to serve the innocent, and still we hear from them and also be strong so that we don't take up their consciousness.
Well, when the doctor treats the patient, he has to be careful not to get the disease also. So the stronger the immune system, the less likely that the disease will affect. So immune yourself by becoming fixed in your sadhana. And then you can associate with anything and at the same time may not be affected by that object.
Sadhana should be strong. Yeah.
Well, we have to live in this material world. So if we're affected by it, how are we going to practice Krishna consciousness? It becomes impossible. Therefore, you have to insulate yourself from the onslaught of material energy and the temptations that come with it. And that means also people that you're working with, you're trying to show compassionate. And therefore, you have to be strong in your Krishna consciousness. You have to have strong sadhana.
Yes.
But if someone's trying to give you something and you don't take it, then you don't have it. So, but if you become sentimental and you start seeing certain things in them that you feel attracted to, then you might find yourself affected by that.
Mm. Yes. So
Like sometimes the karmis, you see karmis, they have certain external qualities that look very nice. But inside, they're just a bag of, selfishness. But outside, they may be very, their behavior might be very nice.
Yes, very much. So not to become sentimental also is very important. For
Well,
us,
be sentimental towards Krishna. That's good.
yes, very much.
That's called spiritual sentiment. Sentiment is good, but if it's geared towards material, then it'll drag you down. If it's geared towards Krishna, that's why you have to be careful in this material energy. It's a dangerous place. And it's easy to fall prey to, the activities of the material world and people who have certain qualities that exhibit things that are contrary to Krishna consciousness. You have to be careful. Asatsanga Tyaga Vaishnava Achar. Associate with devotees. Give up the association of non-devotees. But if you're preaching, then you have to catch the fish without falling into the lake.
yes, very much. Yeah.
And that depends on your spiritual strength and your intelligence.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, learn from others how to avoid getting affected.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, your classes are really giving us the strength.
And the holy name will give you complete strength.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Good. Bala, you're with us.
Balkrishna.
Yes, Maharaj.
Howdy, Bala, long time.
Yes. Krishna has gave me some Maya. I'm now was settled down a little bit, Maharaj. Yeah.
Good. No more Maya?
It's mitigated a lot, so I have some time. It literally is something that Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu had said. It's like I'm going along my own business, and suddenly I wanted some pratishtha. So I didn't even pray. I just said, Krishna, I'm not getting enough, shine at work. So I'm not even joking. The next day, my boss calls me into work and says, here is the greatest project on earth. You are now in charge of it. And that has been killing me. There's so much work. It's like I brought it upon myself, Maharaj. Yes.
You want to hear something pretty
as far away from God as possible without them realizing it.
You want to hear something
Yes, yes, Maharaj.
Everybody get into your seatbelts because this is pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
How to divert spiritual people away from God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here we can learn from this. This
Yeah.
is you heard of Chat GPT?
Yes, yes, Maharaj.
Okay, so this person is asking a question to Chat GPT. You can hear the question and you can hear the answer. I'll put my microphone right near where the voice is coming from. Okay, you ready?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, here we go. He's asking a question, and you can catch the question. The question is, if you were the devil, how would you get people away from God? That's the question he asked.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Chat GPT.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, ChatGPT, if you were the devil, how would you keep people as far away from God as possible without them realizing it?
If I were the devil and I wanted to keep people as far away from God as possible without them realizing it, I wouldn't do it by outright denial. That's too obvious. Instead, I'd work in subtle distractions, small shifts in focus that seem harmless, but over time create a massive distance. I'd start by corrupting mainstream religion, turning it into a tool for control, hypocrisy, and division. I'd make people obsessed with this life, their ambitions, their desires, their status, not by telling them to abandon faith, but by making them too busy for it. I'd fill their time with constant noise, social media scrolling, endless entertainment, mindless consumption, until silence becomes uncomfortable and self-reflection feels impossible. I'd make instant gratification the ultimate goal. I'd make sin feel like self-expression, like freedom, like something to be proud of. I'd reframe obedience to God as oppression and rebellion as liberation. I'd make them think they're too intelligent to submit, too modern to follow divine guidance. I'd make worship feel like a burden instead of a refuge, and acts of devotion seem outdated. And above all, I'd make sure they never realize what's happening. Because the greatest trick isn't to make them reject God, make them forget Him.
Wow. So some of those things are so powerful. Like, to get us to waste time. I was really taken by what he said about outdated, right? It's an easy trap. It's an easy trap for people. Like, oh, they used to do that, 5,000 years ago. Why are you following that? And oh my God, that is powerful.
Yeah. So this is demoniac, what you just heard. It's coming
Yeah.
right from
Mhm.
the devil itself. So yeah, and this is what's going on in today's world.
Right.
Keep people busy
Mhm.
away from God. Keep them distracted. Keep them
Yes.
thinking that, if they continue in their material pursuits, they will become successful.
Mhm.
It's all based on lies, deceptions.
And even taking away your time, that is powerful.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Did everyone hear that?
Yes, Maharaj, it's very scary.
It's the reality of today's world.
Yeah.
Maharaj, can you please share it with us?
I'll send it, just forward it to you to your WhatsApp.
Yes, Maharaj.
Then you can forward it to who wants it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, I mean, people are just distracted. That's all. Even devotees.
Right.
Devotees get so involved with so many material things. They just think, well, Krishna consciousness is nice, but my most important thing in life is to maintain my material status.
Mhm.
And maintaining the material status means to keep feeling it.
Right. Right. It's a very subtle thing where now I cannot let this fail because I'm responsible for it and I asked for it and it's just taking up all my time. But yeah, I try to all I can do is get the 16 rounds in. That feels like a win. That's all the time I have. But yeah, I'm trying to get out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you might need some help.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so should we?
Yes, Sridevi Mataji has any last minute question?
Okay.
Please unmute Mataji.
Yeah. Guru Maharaj, I wanted to ask real quick that when we say that people are so distracted, they are not really involved, even in spite of being devotees, or some of them are doing outrageous things in spite of being devotees. Are these Kali Chelas? They're just pretending, but they are not actually devotees?
That's a question that cannot be answered. How can you tell a Kali Chela? What's the quality of a Kali Chela?
He wears the tilak, he wears the kantimala, he wears the clothes. That means all the outward dress is there. But he's doing all nefarious things, all abominable things, and he's not really following the process.
Yeah. Or he's creating other ideas which are contrary to Krishna consciousness and calling it Krishna conscious. Okay, I'm going to have to stop right here because I have a house full of people here and I have to move on to my next service. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll see you all tomorrow for the next verse.
Sure.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Maharaj,
Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Guru Maharaj
Hare
ki
Krishna.
jai.
Hare
Bhagavatam
Krishna.
So much,
ki jai,
Guru
Jai
Maharaj.
Prabhupada ki
Thank you
jai.
so much, Guru
Thank you
Maharaj.
everyone. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Thank you very much,
Krishna.
Maharaj.
Very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, very well.